if somebody wanted to get started, what I would ask that is to get clarity on what it is that they want to do with the creatives in the community and how they want to show face or uplift the local creators. But I would have them take a look at what already exists. Please, I would say pause for just a moment and go out and interview and meet and get to know 40, 50, 60 arts nonprofits that are already right here, because maybe what might be the best thing for them to do is to partner with somebody who's already there. And so that the work doesn't have to be so hard for them to start off. There are so many incredible arts nonprofits. See if something resonates with you and see if there could be a way that you could join a team that already exists rather than doing something else and create fragmentation in the world. But Charlotte is abundant. There's room for all. Check out what already is there and then take it from there.
How would they approach you to get inside and shadow or intern with you?
Every time you don't ask somebody, the answer is always no. So being resilient and being brave and just making the call. I would really want them to prove themselves and make sure that they do that. And it's probably best for them to do that because most may not understand that it's hard work to have an arts nonprofit. It's hard work to run any nonprofit.
Right. When they're looking at all the many organizations that are already in Charlotte, would you say take what is different, or what problem are they not solving, or what are they not touching on, and then create around that?
Yes, most definitely. I would say see what's not being done of that sector. And if you do truly have something unique, yes, bring that on, because we need to fill any of the gaps that are there in the arts world right now.
Okay, that makes sense. So you spoke on the business side because it's a nonprofit, but it's still business.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's say I had an idea. I'm like, Wendy, I have an idea. This is a problem that I want to solve. And I do believe amongst all the organizations here in Charlotte, it will cut through the noise. But I don't know the business side. I didn't even know there was a business side. What would you say to that?
How to raise funds, becoming a professional fundraiser, because you have to have the funding in order to have the success.
How would you form a pitch deck or something to ask for it?
Yeah.
Let's rewind back. 12 years ago, Wendy is where and what steps is she taking?
It all came from talking with other people, meeting with other arts organizations, a lot of folks from the marketing and advertising industry that I was directly involved with, and just getting people's input and thoughts. And then, just talking to people who love and want to support the arts community and want to see the arts thrive. And that is grants. Yes, that's businesses, that's individual donors, that's family foundations, it's corporations, small business, large business. Everything is kind of cyclical sometimes.
Correct.
And it really just depends on what are the wants and needs of the community and what's happening in the community, and are people passionate about the arts.
Where in the world did you come up with when you are working this job in marketing? Where did it come to you where it's like, I'm going to take the tips and tricks and tools that I learned in this job to help me be successful?
So for me, it was working with clients and building their brands. Big brand that's like Coca-Cola or Budweiser or something, just a big brand.
Okay.
But the creative that was on the billboard was always what got me. So I would just spend a lot of time in the creative department. And then I started just falling in love with creatives and their minds and how they do what they do.
Okay.
I started meeting all these local artists, and they would all ask me the same thing. I'd get asked over and over again, how do I market myself? How do I build my business? How do I price my art? How do I get known? And I thought, there is something here, and someday I'm going to do something about that. So I had this idea living in my heart for 22 years. And when I transferred to Charlotte with my job, I decided to get very serious about Artpop. From May 1st to 2018 till today, it has just been this beautiful, beautiful journey. And we've supported over 500 local artists from this Charlotte region. We've been able to connect local artists to over $1 million in paid opportunities.
How are you able to take Artpop and extend it into different lanes and still make the brand the same consistency no matter where you are or what room you're in at the time?
I think it's, scheduling and timing and not taking on more than you can handle because, we all as creatives want to take on more. Right. You're living in a way that you don't know if this is your next job for a while, right? Or for now, or you're going to be tired again. So I think we tend to say yes sometimes that maybe we should take a pause. Okay. Right. So I think for me, I'm learning. It's always a work in progress, and you just need to examine your business to make sure that it's right for what's happening in our community now. Right. And so you may have to change a little bit. Yeah. So you have to be open to change. You cannot run in the same lane all the time. Right. Because our world changes, our community changes. 157 people are moving to Charlotte every day. And that's going to create even more change, right? And what's really interesting is those people who are moving here are seeing us immediately. Yeah, we have people who lived here for many, many years who may not even know who we are. Right. Because they're coming from very large art cities and they have an expectation of what should be happening in the arts and culture in a community. And so that's been really fun to meet so many new people who are going, I like this. Yes, I love the way you're supporting the arts community. So it's been a journey. It's been beautiful, but it has been a hustle.
I bet. I didn't that. Okay, so from the first Artpop to this latest one, 2025, what was the biggest change?
So for the fashion show, is that what you're talking about? Wow. It's been really interesting. From the first one was probably about 100 people. Okay. We were at the Innovation Barn just outside of Plaza Midwood. Okay. I had never done this before. Okay. And it was great. And we had a wonderful time. And the fashion designers were incredible. But when you fast forward to this past September, it's really hard to explain when you say to people that you're building a couture fashion show utilizing local fashion designers and their models, but the product is a literal billboard that has been on the highway. Right. People check out real quick. They're like, oh God. They're like, you're making fashion hour billboards. How could that even be great? Right? Until they come and then they come back. Year after year after year, because you all, the creatives that are part of this fashion show, they just continue to level up every year. Okay. Right. What you create on your first year is going to be very different, probably your third year. Right. And so the level of creativity just keeps raising up. But this year we had more people, and I don't know if that was the Bloom Studios or just the reputation of the last 4 years of these fashion shows being so good. Right. I'm just so proud of it. But there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. This year we had 30 volunteers having to pull off a show with over 400 guests, in the caliber of the room that it was in. Right. I can't take any credit for this.
Every time I'm looking at the photos or the pictures, it just takes me back. Like I thoroughly just had fun.
Yes.
And that's what, just the process of everything that just going from me and Nina's apartment, trying it on until then, like seeing everybody and the artists and how they were able to take their piece of billboard and turn it into something totally different. I'm like, wow. And it felt super organized. I don't know how it felt in your spirit. It felt super organized. It felt super aligned. And I'm just like, okay, can I talk to her and figure out like what are you doing to be able to organize that?
I think structure and deadlines and rules. I know these are things that creatives don't always love, but I'm very upfront at the beginning of how this needs to work. When I looked around and saw our community just ear to ear smiling, clapping, joy, excitement, all of those things. My heart was just exploding, and I'm just so proud to be able to do this. And I was so impressed with each and every one of you. And I just thought, God, look what these people are doing. And the whole room felt it.
Yes.
And I know we have beautiful photos and we have wonderful videos from all the people who contributed to documenting the show, but I wish everybody could see that.
Yeah.
And feel that.
How in the world are you getting artists on billboards? Oh, and I'm talking about, we're talking about Charlotte, but we're also talking about New York. Wendy, how in the world?
So because of my career was in the billboard industry, I was probably close to 17 years into the business before I went full time with Artpop.
Right.
So those folks, I know them. All of these businesses are friends of mine. And so that you could ask me earlier about relationships. You bet it's relationships. And they say yes to Artpop to the tune now of over $8.5 million of advertising space that is donated to this mission to showcase you all.
Wow. I love the fact that you are speaking so highly about your time in the corporate world, because I'm just going to speak on today. Yes. I can see on both ends where some people are like, I can no longer work a 9 to 5 to start this business, or I am tired of this corporate world and I'm going to start my business. But then I hear people say, no, use that 9 to 5 to be the seed or to elevate your business. So I love that you bring the perspective of, but even now that you are far from them, you're still so connected because you're using those relationships and the tools to be able to help other people. So I love that perspective.
Thank you. And I feel like there's a lot of people who leave the corporate sector to go to the nonprofit sector because they were unhappy in their career.
Right.
Oh, I was not unhappy. I left home at 16 years old. I have never been to college. And the billboard industry changed my life. You know, I started off as grassroots other kids selling billboards in Sumter, South Carolina.
Okay.
Right. And didn't know the thing about the industry. And so growing and being able to climb the ladder in a career that moved me to 5 different cities allowed me to give that knowledge and what I learned all those years to local artists.
Right.
That became far more important to me than the corporate side of it.
And not saying that there's not a lot of people who are not saying that they love their corporate job, but I love to hear the side of, I loved it, but this is what I did. And I'm able to still touch those people in that industry to make what I'm doing bigger because of the relationship and the knowledge that you were able to bring in that field and the quality that you're now bringing in the nonprofit sector.
So, and I think having a corporate background and a business background is nothing but good to have right before you enter the nonprofit sector, because it is so different. Nonprofit does mean not for profit,
right?
But it doesn't mean it shouldn't be ran like a business,
right?
Yeah, if you want to be around for a little while, you better know how to run your business.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Okay, for someone who is like, I have this platform now. I was able to find the problem or the need, but okay, how do I sustain this? What is your advice, given your experience in Artpop, in the corporate world, just where you've been able to kind of keep being consistent now? What advice could you give that person?
I would say to not lose your vision of what it is that you want to do. Be open to change. Be open to the hustle and show up and do what you said you're going to do. If you've set a meeting with somebody, then you need to be there 5 minutes early, right? And acting in a professional way and delivering on what you said. But I think if somebody is wanting to open up a nonprofit, I would say to them to find a way to make the right connections in advance, that you have long-term sustainable funding so that you can keep your eye on the mission and who you serve and not be in that constant grind of reinventing your funding.
How important is the branding of the nonprofit that you're creating?
Oh my goodness. Very important, and that's something that, when funding is changing, when things are changing, arts get cut a lot.
Yeah.
And marketing gets cut. But if people don't know about what you're doing,
right,
they're not going to come to your door, right? So you have to make that a priority.
Do you go back to that why and that purpose when you're at that point where it's like, I don't know how I'm about to get this done?
Anytime that I get into a space where things aren't quite working out like I hope them to do, I dove and I meet with artists. That is crucial. to understand what is happening in their world and why I cannot stop doing this.
How would you describe when you hear that, or if you see it written somewhere, what would that mean to you?
For me, it's about just do it, get started, and taking that responsibility for owning your dream. I think that that's what it says to me.